He's out. He's in. Hey there. We're Michael and Melissa McManus, the husband and wife duo behind M2 Photography and Stagger Films. We've been telling love stories together for almost 2 decades now, and this podcast is just another way to keep doing that, but in a new form. Talk of the Aisle is really just a space for honest conversations with people in the wedding world, planners, florists, filmmakers, photographers, and all the folks. Celebrants, all the folks who bring so much heart to what they do. And we're not big on trends or small talk. We're way more interested in the why behind the work, what keeps people going, what have they learned, and what does it really look like to show up for your couples and for each other. We wanted to start this for 2 reasons. One, to give couples a better sense of what really matters behind the scenes and to celebrate the incredible people we get to work alongside. And it's for anyone who cares about stories, the connection, and the meaning. Messed that up. I will cut this, and then we will start over from this sentence.
It's in post, so you got. But I love the way this is going so far.
Yeah, thank you. We started this for 2 reasons: to give couples a better sense of what really matters behind the scenes, and to celebrate the incredible people we get to work alongside. It's for anyone who cares about stories, connection, and doing meaningful work in this wild and beautiful industry. And we're so excited to kick off our very first episode with someone whose work we've admired for a long time and someone who we just adore in the wedding industry. Alisa is a certified life celebrant who's created personal, heartfelt wedding ceremonies for couples all over, from Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, down to South Carolina, up to Massachusetts, Washington, Hawaii, even St. Thomas. She's credentialed to perform legal wedding ceremonies in every U.S. state and territory. Her work has been featured in New York Times, Brides, Martha Stewart Weddings, Philadelphia Wedding Magazine, where she's often tapped for their Ask an Expert column. Her ceremonies are known for being thoughtful, grounded, and emotionally resonant, and she's built not just a reputation, but a place. Alisa is also the heart behind Promise Ridge, a stunning mountaintop ceremony space she created in the Poconos. And we were lucky enough to be part of one of the very first weddings there. Mm-hmm. And even now, it stands out as one of the most intimate and meaningful spaces we've had a chance to work with, and just in the area, one of the most unique places to get married at. Alisa is also the heart behind Promise. Oh, I read that part. On top of that, she's also the creator of On top of that, she's the creator of the Wedding Ceremonies Masterclass for Friend Officiants, a course designed to help people step into that role with clarity, confidence, and care. So we'll definitely talk about that in a bit. And people often say that standing in front of Alisa feels like standing in front of an old friend. Her ceremonies don't just mark a moment, they tell a story. And we're just so honored to have you with us today. So, Alisa, welcome to the first episode of Talk of the Aisle. We're glad you're here.
We're so happy you're here.
Yay! You know what? You left out one of the most important accolades and accomplishments in that intro, and that is to be selected unanimously by Talk of the Aisle to be the first episode conversation.
After much deliberation, yes. It took...
It's an honor. So thank you for being here. And congratulations, you guys, for starting this new way of connecting and sharing stories with a broader audience. So
thank you. Yeah, we're excited. We have no idea what we're doing, but we're doing it.
We love to talk and we love connection. So
yeah, it sounds like the perfect
combo
of things there. So we're just going to ask you some questions and then just kind of like see where things go. So starting off, I think, is the obvious question, which is like, how did you actually get started in the wedding world?
Yeah, I started thinking about being a celebrant when I'm the first of all, my heart's racing right now. I'm like so excited to be on this podcast with you. Okay. But I'm the firstborn of 4 kids, and my family, pretty much everyone lives in Hawaii. So I'm on the opposite side of the world from them. And one night I was just trying to make my life harder for myself. And I was imagining
as we do.
Just imagining like the worst case scenario that I got a call that one of my parents had died. And so I was trying to think, okay, how am I going to respond in this situation? My role in the family is typically to be the one who gathers people, who has the plan. And so I was trying to imagine, how would I deal with that really bad news and the responsibilities of being the eldest daughter while I'm in grief and on the other side of the world. And so I started to problem solve, okay, who will I call when it's my mom who's the one who's died? And, like she was very much involved in a church growing up. So I would call that pastor. She would have, I imagine, sitting in the first row of that service, and it would be pretty much the same service that her friend had, who had died from breast cancer. And that would be okay. That's appropriate for my mom, because that's what her life has been like. And she's still alive. Everybody's young and healthy, so no worries. But then in my imagination, I plugged my dad into that same scenario, that same formula. And I was getting mad in the first row in my imagination during this this service that was appropriate for my mom, but it wasn't appropriate for my dad. And I started to research what are beautiful, meaningful, dignified ways to have a funeral service for someone who isn't religious but who's had a really big life and big impact. And I eventually found that there are people called celebrants, and that they're trained to create ceremonies for whoever it is that they're working with. And it involves more customization, obviously, because you have to learn either the life story or the love story. And it's oftentimes outside of religion. And so I found a New Jersey institute, the Celebrant Institute and Foundation, applied. They accepted me as a student, and I spent about a year learning how to create a flow of ceremony, learning about symbolism in different religions and historical and cultural traditions. So I do mostly weddings. That's how I got introduced to the wedding industry. But I've also done funerals and memorial services and other types of ceremonies. And I guess they're all kind of the same in the way that I'm either telling somebody's love story or their life story. And the other ceremony elements are fluid, I guess, depending on that. So that's how I got started in weddings. And I had a friend who did she would do custom collateral and branding and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, wow, so much artistry and thought is going into all of these details for this wedding, but not the same amount of attention or care is going into the actual ceremony. Like oftentimes they're having a religious leader who they don't even know who's doing a ceremony, and they're not able to say their own vows, or their love story isn't shared in person. It's like on the back of a program or on their website, or they have a friend who's officiating and the ceremony's 5 minutes and everybody's now going to the party. So I thought, what if the ceremony part, the part that is bringing everyone together in the first place, has that same sort of couture-ness to it as every other aspect? What would that be like? And 13 years later, that's what I specialize in. And I love it. It's my favorite job. I love to work with all the different couples and their families and the different creatives and artists that they pull together for their vision. I love working in the wedding industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the ceremony is the heart of the day, and you can definitely tell the difference of a ceremony that has that heart and preparedness with heart and care and tenderness versus not. And every single ceremony that I have had the privilege to photograph that you have led has been so full of heart, which doesn't surprise me because you are someone who is so full of heart and care in everything that you do. But I just want to just honor you and say thank you for your gift and for sharing that and for following. I just love how like we end up where we are. Like you literally started doing this when you were like thinking about funerals.
Yeah.
And then
Right?
here you are.
I was describing it the other day out, and my boyfriend's face when I was like talking about death and funerals was like, what are you talking about? That's not like dinner party conversation. So I understand, but it's so true, Melissa, that you never know what's going to lead to you finding something that is going to make a difference and light you up on the inside.
Right. And a lot of us don't follow that. But you did.
Yeah. I was just thinking that, and because we have kids going into college, it's even more on our mind of like being like, oh, this is what I want, and just being very narrow-minded about it and just ignoring other opportunities that might come across versus just kind of just being open-hearted about it.
Curious.
Because we wouldn't be where we were at either if we had that same idea. So not as interesting as your story, but, you know, even finding ourselves to doing this podcast, it's a similar, like we were like, hey, what would be cool? Let's start a podcast. No, like let's bring a little bit more heart to the industry and kind of bring so many wonderful people that we've been able to work with and get to know over the past 17 years.
Yeah, what a rich life you've had. Yeah.
And to your, you know, the ceremonies and Melissa's saying the heart, and that's how we always talk about it. It's like the heart of the day.
Everything is the heart.
I think it's also like worth mentioning that a thoughtful ceremony is just as much for the guests as it is for the couples. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about being in ceremonies like that, is that we get a lot of feels from
Yes, I am crying within like 2 minutes.
and then we'll be across the room, and then we make eyes a lot, and we just kind of like have moments of connection and understanding based off of what we're seeing. It happens throughout the day in different parts, but the ceremony is always like one of those, you know, special opportunities for us to have that. So, yeah.
Love that. All right. So next question.
Okay.
What part of your work lights you up the most?
Can we pause for a second?
Yeah.
What did I say in my Google Doc? I don't remember.
Hold on. So you said some years ago you read an article in The Atlantic about how...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things, right?
I just let it flow right through me, you guys. Okay, so the part of my work that lights me up the most, and this is for any type of ceremony, it's for, my gatherings for Bacon and Locke Society. It's just for any interaction, really, is focusing on kindness. Some years ago, I read this article in The Atlantic, and it was about what trait people who are together and happy for a long time all had in common. And it was that they are kind to each other and that they go out of their way to have several just small kindnesses throughout each day. And they said that it's great because it's not like attraction, right? Which you either have or you don't. It's chemical. Kindness is like a muscle, they said, that you can make stronger by doing it. And I thought about how that correlates to a philosophy that I grew up with in Hawaii called aloha, which is treating people with respect, and not only people, but the land and others with respect and kindness and dignity, and with, I want to say care, but it's like cherishing things like they're precious. And so although when I create ceremonies, they're really about the couple, and I'm not like forcing my religious beliefs or anything like that. I do kind of force my beliefs about aloha in things that I create. So I don't often mention aloha unless the couple has ties to Hawaii or that belief themselves. But that is how I see the world, and that is how I see relationships as opportunities for us to give understanding and care and kindness. But also, and I think that this is a challenge for so many people who work in the wedding industry, to be able to receive kindness, care, and understanding from others. So, it's something that I'm practicing all the time in my daily life. And when I'm writing a ceremony, I'm always looking for those examples of kindness that couples share with me. And then I'm elevating those when I'm talking about their love story, what makes them special together, and what they're hoping for the future. And so, I don't know, I hope that by elevating those normal, everyday little things, that people will hear them and go, oh, I can do that too. That doesn't cost me much to do, but it's big enough.
The ripple effect.
It made it into this wedding ceremony, right? Like, it counts. So, that's what lights me up, hearing about little kindnesses that people show others.
Yeah. It reminds me of a book called Love Does by Bob Goff. If you haven't read it, it's super entertaining because he's just a really interesting human being, but it's the idea that love isn't a feeling, it's an action. It's like a very similar thread. So it's those little things. And I feel like you're not forcing your perspective on people, or like you feel like you kind of are, but that's just the way that's the filter that you.
Yeah. And we all have them. Yeah. And so hopefully the people who also appreciate that would be the ones who would find me. Right.
Yep.
So,
but that's a little aloha in our lives. I love that. I love that.
So, to shift gears a little bit, what drives you to continue to do this work, like even on the hard days, which are inevitable?
Yeah. It's maybe I'm being really selfish. It just feels so good when I'm with people, even if it's something, like, there's often times in ceremony where the couple has something difficult that they want to acknowledge and bring into that space. And most of the time that is, missing someone who's died, right? And wanting to acknowledge how that person's presence is still with them and is carried through, or how they inspired them. And that's really, it's hard. It's hard for them because they know it's coming up, but it's really important. And seeing people be brave in that moment, to be so open and to have like love go through them, is something that is very inspiring to me. And, did you ever hear people say that, like, on September 11th, right, when the towers were when people knew that they weren't going to be able to get out, right? Or when they're on the airplane and they knew that this was the end. People didn't make calls like, you're such a jerk. Oh, this is my final. We're never going to be making. They were calling people to tell them that I love you and that's never going to change. And I think that that's so pure and it moves me. And so that inspires me when I get to either be a part of a moment like that being created, or even just getting to witness it. You know, not all the time am I orchestrating those moments. Sometimes I'm just standing there and it happens. And getting to see that, people being open and expressing how much someone means to them while they're alive too, like that's so healing. And I love it. We just need more of that in the world. So
that,
yeah. And it doesn't cost anything, Melissa and Michael.
It just costs
bravery.
Your heart and
Yeah.
Which to some people is a lot.
Anyway, so just speak it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
let it flow.
What a gift it is to not only say that for yourself, but for that receiver, right?
Mm-hmm.
What a gift to know that they are loved by someone in this life.
It's crazy because I feel like everyone appreciates vulnerability, but so few people are willing to go there.
Because it's hard.
So it's so many times
scary.
In our relationships, friendships mostly, when we find for the first person to take that step, it's always reciprocated, you know? But I just feel like life in general is so precious and precarious and fleeting that
it shares that.
Yeah, we need that's what makes these moments so much more special and something that we reflect on and probably connect more with our clients' parents at this point. Is just kind of like understanding that reality and how special the day really is. And Melissa, every meeting at some point, she always says this, and I think you know what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Do I say it?
Yeah,
okay. It's like you will never have all these people in the same room ever again.
Like
this
never.
is like truly a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
It's just so unique. It's here and it's gone in a flash. Like, be present, feel it, be honest with it, do it the way you want to do it, you know, all those things, because it's just a one day thing.
Yeah. And I think the way we become more vulnerable and the way that we share with others more often is practicing it. Like you said, practicing that kindness.
Right.
It's a choice to practice that. And like you also said, it's like muscle memory. Like the more you do it, the more you feel comfortable doing it. And then eventually you realize like, oh, it's so easy for me to be vulnerable with others.
Right.
Because then not only are you giving them that gift, you're also showing them and giving them permission that it's okay to be vulnerable themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite ceremonies or weddings in general are just weddings that have that vulnerability, because where there's vulnerability, there's authenticity, and you can't fake that. And there's just like, and from a photographer's standpoint, like that is the heart that I am looking for throughout the day. That is the story. That is the essence of it.
I want to say it's fair to say that couples come to all of us and they aren't necessarily looking for that or valuing that or knowing it's possible. But the beauty of the work that we do is we can kind of lead them to that and show them that, you know? And
I feel like they would, when the couple is coming to you, they've looked through your website, they've looked at other work, and that end product, even if they don't know exactly what that is that they're looking for, comes through and they're like, oh, I can imagine what it's like to have been the person in this photo, like what that feeling was like. Yeah, and it was captured beautifully. And then that's going to reinforce my memory of this later on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can I just tell you a short story about like learning about how to be like that it's okay to be vulnerable?
Yeah.
So many years ago, it was the first day of summer. I was taking the kids out to pizza for lunch. And my dog, Ulysses, got out of the house and was chasing us down the road. And I didn't know it. I didn't know that he was chasing us. And I hit him with my car. And so he, like we pulled over, my son's running down the road. Like, no, we scoop him up. We're now driving him over to the vet to see if he's going to be okay. And the three of us came home and like collapsed in a group nap on my bed, right? We're exhausted. We're waiting to find out if he's going to make it. And while everybody's napping, I go onto Facebook and I say, hey, everybody, please send your thoughts and prayers to Ulysses. I hit him with the car. We're waiting to find out if he's going to be okay. And then I passed out with the kids, right? Anyway, we wake up and I'm now checking the post, right? And people are like, can I do a Reiki session on him? And asking for permission, to do energy work. And other people are sharing that they've had Jack Russells that have been hit by cars 3 times and lived till they were 18, right? Like they're so resilient, that particular breed, and he's going to be okay. And anyway, so I'm on my phone reading kind of the updates, and my son, Xavier, he was probably like 8 or 9 or 10. I don't know. He was around that age. And he got mad at me. He was like, why are you on your phone? Right? Like, we're supposed to be focusing on Ulysses right now. And I said, oh, Zadie, I posted to our friends that Ulysses needs help. And these are some of the things that people are saying, right? So I started to read the messages, and it made him feel cared for, that there was a chance that Ulysses would be okay. Anyway, fast forward to the next morning. Maybe he was around 10 because he was texting his friends, right? He's like walking down the stairs, and he had learned that it was okay to reach out to others through that. He had texted all of his friends that Ulysses was hurt. He used to have them do birthday cards for him on the bus, right? So texted all of his friends that Ulysses was hurt. And one of his friends was working on sending him a little care package of like homemade biscuits or whatever. And I was so proud that he learned that he didn't have to just hold it all in, and that he actually became stronger in all of his relationships by letting people know that he needed help and that he was sad and he was worried, and letting people step in for him at that time. So it's not the same as a wedding, but there are several moments leading up to a wedding where you could have a similar sort of lesson that you can learn for yourself by letting other people show you love by taking care of something for you, trusting others, and not feeling like you have to do it all yourself, because, every once in a while, and I'm a type A person, so I understand. I have a lot of compassion, but every once in a while, I'll work with someone who has a hard time opening up and letting go and trusting others to be at their level of vision. And it's hard for them on the day to, like how you said, Melissa and Michael, to really appreciate this moment and enjoy it and not feel like you're producing it in every moment of it.
And that's the beauty of what you do mostly, is elopements and micro weddings. And I think it's a lot easier in that space to do that versus the much larger, highly produced, where it can kind of feel like, I think there's some pressure on some couples that feel like, oh, I have to be a little bit more performative here. Or it's just, they kind of lose touch with it.
Yeah. Which,
although I have done ceremonies for like 400 people with the senator in the audience, and still, like, the reason why people are asking me to be their celebrant in those situations is because they want it to still feel intimate, yeah, like everybody's invited to be a part of that moment, not like it's a show.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, and that comes down to who the couple is together and what they want and what they care about. So you're at those weddings because couples value that. And you're the only one that I know of that does it the way that you do it, which is why you've had so much success.
Yeah, to your own voice. So speaking of elopements and micro weddings, they are becoming even more popular ever since COVID, and they're not going away. And we had a micro wedding, and we feel like, I think they're so special. So I know that you have a space, a beautiful space that you have created, a little slice of heaven here on earth. Can you tell us a little bit more about Promise Ridge?
yeah, Promise Ridge is the special ceremony space that I've created here at my home where I live. It's on the edge of a cliff overlooking the Appalachian Trail. It's lovely. I do all of the gardening. But you know what makes it really special, Melissa, is that because there's beautiful places everywhere. There are gardens everywhere. This is a ceremony space that I created for ceremony. So it's not a restaurant that you could also get married at beforehand, right? It's like you could have your ceremony here. And if you want to stay for dinner later on, that's okay. You don't need to, but it's for ceremony. So every aspect of how the Promise Ridge experience is designed is to reinforce and create a container around the ceremony. So many times when people are leaving at the end of the night, parents or grandparents are like, this was magical. This was the most, beautiful experience that I've ever had in my life, and you could think, oh, well, what makes it beautiful? Oh, it's because the gardens and the lighting and the twinkle lights and everything was just like on point tonight. So that's why it was beautiful or magical. But I don't think that that's what makes it magical. It's that moment, the ceremony where everybody feels connected to the couple and to something just kind of larger than all of them. And for micro weddings, I designed the ceremony to involve everyone's participation. So people don't feel like they're sitting back and watching. They feel like they're an active member of it. And I think that adds to the magic aspect of it. Just protecting that when you're designing. So I hope that other people can create something similar to Promise Ridge, because I could only do 20 people here comfortably. So many times I'm getting, emails and people saying, is there any place like this that we could do for 80 people or 100? And I don't know, because it's not a good business model to have a place that's, just for ceremony. So yeah, I don't know. I love it. It's great. It's really special.
Easy commute for you.
It is. Yeah. I hardly have to wear shoes.
Yeah.
You really don't have to.
It sounds like Melissa's dream. Hey, maybe you and I start an 80-person venue and then she could refer us all of those people.
I'll funnel all of them to you. It's great. And you guys were such an important inspiration and part for making my at-home ceremony space into Promise Ridge. I don't even think that I had a name for it until
afterwards.
Yeah.
We did our gift, right?
Our gift ceremony.
So yeah, that's the other, I think, important part as a business owner and as a creative in general. It's really important to put names on things that you create, because then they can become something bigger, right? They can grow. Yeah. Same thing with my Bacon and Lock Society. It was just like friends beforehand and we're doing things just very casually. Yeah. But once I gave it a formal name, and really it's like giving it the formality of and the respect of this deserves a name, that it became, you know, something so much bigger where you have people are like, oh, can I be a member of the Bacon and Lock Society? So it helps you find your people once you do that. And so the same thing with your podcast, you know, putting a name to this, getting this out there is going to help you find people who need this. So
that's the goal. I remember when you invited us to Bacon and Locks, I was like,
and then nervous because I'm like, she has all these cool friends, and maybe it's more about me. I'm just like, I don't know if I fit in here. Although I do remember because we did a video for you for that one, and I had my drone, and I came too low, and all the napkins on the tables water.
Water.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, this is so embarrassing. I'm like, my debut with all these cool people. Oh God.
He's made an entrance.
So actually, let me ask you, because maybe this could be a question that we ask at all podcast episodes, is like, what's something really funny that maybe has happened at a wedding? Because I have embarrassing stories of things that happened to me at weddings, but has anything ever happened that just ended up being really funny, like a little, you know, mistake here or there, or something out of the blue? Not to just spring it on you, but
yeah, and it's okay if you can't think of anything, because I can't actually.
Well, I feel like, for us, I can't think of things that happened at weddings that we were viewing. It's always like me embarrassing
things
myself.
That you did. Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Oh man, I'll think about it, and because there are funny things that happen, but I can't think of anything that's so outrageous that is positive. Right. You know, like every once in a while, I'll have something behind the scenes that is not great. Not about me, but often at times it has to do with like somebody hasn't signed a prenup and nobody's like being direct in the way that they're talking. They're all trying to get other people involved in the pressure. That's not really funny, but it makes for interesting stories later on, and like
that's an after hours conversation, not on the podcast. But also, like, if most of the weddings that you do are your elopements and micro weddings, so you're with them for such a short period of time, so I feel like that opportunity doesn't show itself as much. Whereas like for us, we're the couple 12 hours
all day,
a lot of opportunity for things. And especially on the video side, because we record audio. Sometimes we'll be listening back and we'll hear really.
That's my fear. I get mic'd up for ceremonies often way before the ceremony starts. So I'm like walking around doing stuff. And I always like cover up the microphone now. Like, but once I did use the restroom because I had to pee, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't cover up the microphone. So,
well,
what about talk about a privacy invasion?
A lot of
it makes me feel great, Michael, knowing that you're going back and listening to the hours of like
always listen to everything.
The opening to the film.
It's just, well, at least it was pee, right? A lot of grooms don't remember their mics.
Oh no!
And sometimes they do know, and they are more old. So we've heard a lot of noises. Yeah. Anyway, awesome. Well, I really appreciate you jumping on and giving us your time, especially so early in the morning and short notice. But we're really excited to be doing what we're doing, and glad you got to be our first.
Hey, it feels really good, and I hope that you guys find other people as cool as me to interview.
It's just will be downhill from here. At the beginning of the end. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we truly cherish what you do in this industry, what you do in your life. It is inspiring, and who you are as a person.
Yeah.
From the very first time that we've met you, like, we were just like, okay, she's good people. Yeah. She has a heart of gold, and I'm so glad that we have deepened and strengthened our bond over the years. And we can now call you one of our dear friends. And the world is just so much better with you, Alisa. And our industry is so much better because of you and people like you.
I know you're trying to close this up, but I'm gonna,
All right, we gotta go.
I resist. I'm just thinking about like how unique and special this industry is, especially around the Philadelphia area, which we both work in. Everybody has their own little small business, right? And they're so helpful with each other. So maybe this does count as a funny story.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I don't know if you remember, the governor called in the National Guard because we had that bomb cyclone snowstorm.
Yes.
Like in March or something. Anyway, I live up in the Poconos and I had a wedding at Old Bar in Philadelphia. And I was like, oh, the weather looks bad. So I'm going to leave really early today, right? So as I'm leaving my driveway, a tree falls down, right? Like it's like bad. It's like falls down. I was like, I'll deal with that later. I have this wedding to get to, right? So my GPS is taking me like, started on the main road and then I'm like on all these country back roads. And I'm like, this is going to take me 4 hours to get to Philadelphia. As I'm driving, it's like crazy snow, wind, trees are falling down behind me. So I can't like
It's like an action
go
scene in a movie.
backwards, right? I'm like, it's crazy. So I'm still kind of like above the Lehigh Valley and 2 hours has passed.
Wow.
Right. And so I was like, ooh, what if things don't get better? So one of the good things about working with Celebrant is that we'll work together ahead of time to create the ceremony script, right? So everything is approved and co-created by the couple. I had a script for this wedding ceremony. So I called a celebrant that I knew down in Philadelphia. And I was like, hey, can you get to Old Bar at this time? I'll email you the script if I can't get there, right? And this other celebrant was like, ooh, it's really dangerous out. I don't think so. And I was like, I'm like on all these roads, things are crashing down all around me. So I call my friend, Nicole Hutnick. Her company is Rabbit Crew, and she's a wedding planner. And I was like, Nicole, you live right around there. Can you go and officiate this wedding ceremony? She's like, absolutely not. I'm not going to officiate, but I'm going to ask John Awad to do it, right? The roadblock himself. So Redfield Photography is like one of her best friends. And so John has officiated a couple weddings before. I email the script to him. Now his hands are so sweaty and he's so nervous. He has on his black outfit and his suit and tie. And he's like calling me like, okay, how does this hand fasting work? And the remembrances, for this couple, he's taking it so seriously, which I love. Anyway, I show up and Nicole has worked with the coordinator at the venue to flip their cocktail hour so that it's happening before the ceremony, to give everybody, not only me, time to arrive, because it's a big, huge storm. So even their guests are delayed. And so they do that. I come in, I have my snow boots on, I'm changing. Pat Robinson is the photographer. John Awad is there ready to officiate. Nicole is like the bonus wedding planner, like affecting this whole couple's timeline. They don't even know who she is. Anyway, I was so touched how everyone came together. Half of those people weren't even being paid by the couple, right? Like they were just showing up, helping each other out. Nobody was feeling like, oh, this is competition. This is a different photographer than me. This is a different wedding planner than I am. John was ready to officiate this ceremony as an emergency. So that is funny to me. We have all these photo booth pictures afterwards. But that is something really special about our industry, is how I know in my experience, people really do whatever they can to help each other out. And it's not cutthroat for the most part. And when somebody is a bad actor, I think people are good at closing out ranks and showing others that that's not how we want to be. And I'm really proud of us for that. So thank you for having me on your show. And I hope that you guys have the type of success that you deserve. I think your microphone got unplugged when the kitty was going by.
That's crazy. The cat muted us. It's okay.
Silencing our
We were mainly just making noises through your story, so we'll dump those in.
We're going to be putting those. Oh my God, yes. Later on.
That's crazy. Well, I feel like nothing went wrong today, so that's great. This is perfect. I do have a call in like 5 minutes, so we are going to jump.
Yeah.
But thank you again
so much. You are lovely, and we're just so grateful that you're here.
Okay. It's mutual, you guys. Yes. What else?
Does Promise Ridge have its own Instagram or? Okay. So if you just.
Yeah, it's at Promise Ridge.
Okay. Fine. I'll write it down.
And you know what? Since you're asking for my feedback, you should put your book that you suggested in the links.
Does. I agree.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah, we have to figure out like uploading and doing all that stuff. But the main output of this is we're going to be just kind of like cutting clips and just just
smart,
some like nuggets so people can easily digest it and they're not like, oh, this is an hour long, I don't think I can do this.
A big commitment. Yeah. That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of pressure off.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, even my intro, I had to stop. Sorry. Which I felt like just so long, but yeah. Anyway, cool.
Well,
but yeah.
What did they say? It's a millennial pause.
Oh,
have you heard of that?
No.
I've heard of it. I just don't know what it is.
People who are in our generation will pause before they speak. And so like you'll probably start, now that your phone has picked up that I've said millennial pause, next time you're on TikTok, you're going to see like
millennial pauses
edits of my Gen Z intern edited up my millennial pauses.
There's seen those fun like edits where it's just the pauses and maybe that'll be
all right. I love you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys soon. And I just finished up my preparation intake questionnaire, so I'll be sending that to you probably like a week before, just so that you can get the most out of.
I love it.
Yeah,
Magic Nights experience. All right.
I love it.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. I love you guys. All right. Bye.
Love you.